Eli Lilly and Company is one of America's oldest pharmaceutical firms. It was founded in 1876 in Indianapolis, Indiana. The company's founder, Colonel Eli Lilly, was a Civil War veteran and a pharmaceutical chemist. He was dissatisfied with the poorly prepared and often ineffective medicines of his era. His goal was to create high-quality medicines and to only market them through physicians. This principle of ethical production and distribution set the company apart in its early days. Over the following decades, Lilly grew from a small local business into a national enterprise. It achieved this by focusing on scientific research and large-scale manufacturing. The company's trajectory changed forever in the 1920s. Lilly partnered with researchers from the University of Toronto to mass-produce insulin. This was a monumental achievement in medical history. It transformed a fatal diagnosis of type 1 diabetes into a manageable chronic condition. This success cemented Lilly's reputation as a major innovator. It also laid the financial groundwork for future expansion. The company continued to develop other groundbreaking medicines. These included the first widely used polio vaccine antibiotics like erythromycin and pioneering psychiatric drugs. Each success reinforced the company's market position and its image as a provider of life-saving treatments. This history of innovation is central to understanding Eli Lilly's modern identity. The company built its power not just through business acumen, but through scientific breakthroughs. It established large research and development laboratories. It hired top scientists and invested heavily in discovering new chemical compounds. This research-intensive model became the backbone of the modern pharmaceutical industry. Lilly's growth was methodical and strategic. It expanded its sales force, entered international markets, and built a global manufacturing network. Insulin is a hormone that is essential for life. For people with type 1 diabetes, their bodies do not produce it. They require daily injections to survive. Eli Lilly was the first company to commercialize insulin in 1923. This was a genuine medical miracle. The original patent holders sold the rights for a nominal fee, hoping the drug would be accessible to all. For many decades, insulin remained relatively affordable. Lilly, along with a few other manufacturers, produced various forms of animal-based insulin and later synthetic human insulin. The company became synonymous with diabetes care, a reputation it holds to this day. Over the past 2 decades, the situation has changed dramatically. The price of insulin in the United States has soared. Lilly is one of 3 dominant producers in the global insulin market: Lilly, Novo Nordisk, Sanofi. The company has introduced a series of new insulin products, known as analogs. These are modified versions of human insulin, designed to work faster or last longer. Each new product was launched at a higher price than the one before it. For example, the list price of Lilly's Humalog insulin increased by over 1,200% between 1996 and 2019. This relentless price escalation occurred even though the basic molecule is over a century old. The consequences of high insulin prices are severe. Patients without adequate insurance coverage face immense financial strain. Many report paying hundreds or even thousands of dollars per month just to stay alive. National surveys and news reports are filled with stories of patients rationing their insulin. They skip doses, use less than prescribed to make a vial last longer. This practice is incredibly dangerous. It can lead to severe health complications, including diabetic ketoacidosis, organ damage, and even death. The high cost of a century-old medicine has created a public health crisis and a fierce public debate. Why have prices risen so steeply? The answer is complex. It involves a lack of competition and a convoluted pricing system. The U.S. market is an oligopoly, controlled by Lilly, Novo Nordisk, and Sanofi. These companies often raise prices in tandem. The system of pharmacy benefit managers, or PBMs, also plays a role. Drug makers offer large rebates to PBMs to ensure their products are placed on an insurer's preferred list. These rebates are tied to a high list price. The result is that while insurers may get a discount, patients with high deductibles or no insurance are exposed to the inflated list price. Today, Eli Lilly is a multi-billion-dollar corporation with operations around the world. It is a leader in several therapeutic areas, most notably diabetes oncology and immunology. The company's journey reflects the broader evolution of the pharmaceutical industry. It shows how scientific discovery, manufacturing scale, and market strategy combine to create immense corporate power. This essay will examine how Eli Lilly wields that power. It will investigate the company's strategies in pricing, patents, and policy. The central question is how these corporate actions shape the cost and accessibility of medicine for patients and health systems. Eli Lilly's focus on diabetes extends far beyond insulin. The company has invested billions of dollars to develop and market a new generation of diabetes medicines. These drugs, primarily for type 2 diabetes, represent a major source of revenue and growth. Medications like Trulicity, Jardiance, Mounjaro are blockbuster drugs. They generate billions of dollars in sales annually. These are not insulins, but belong to newer classes of drugs. They work by stimulating the body's own insulin production, reducing glucose production in the liver, increasing glucose excretion through urine. The market for these newer diabetes drugs is intensely competitive. Lilly competes fiercely with other pharmaceutical giants to gain market share. The company spends enormous sums on marketing and advertising. This includes direct-to-consumer commercials on television and online. It also involves extensive promotion to physicians through sales representatives, sponsored medical conferences, and educational materials. The goal is to make their brand the first choice for doctors and to encourage patients to ask for it by name. These marketing efforts have been highly successful, turning Lilly's diabetes portfolio into a primary driver of its stock value. The pricing of these new drugs follows a familiar pattern. They are launched with high list prices, often costing over $1,000 for a month's supply without insurance. Lilly and its competitors justify these prices by pointing to the high cost of research and development. They argue that these newer medicines offer benefits beyond just blood sugar control, such as weight loss, reduced risk of cardiovascular events. While these benefits are real, the high prices create significant access barriers for patients. Insurers often require patients to try and fail on older, cheaper drugs first, a process known as step therapy. The success of drugs like Mounjaro tirzepatide highlights another aspect of Lilly's strategy. This drug has shown remarkable effectiveness for weight loss in addition to its use for diabetes. Lilly has actively pursued and received FDA approval for this new indication, marketing it under the brand name Zepbound. This expands the potential market from millions of people with diabetes to tens of millions of people with obesity. This strategic expansion into the lucrative weight loss market demonstrates how the company leverages its research pipeline to maximize profits from a single successful molecule, further solidifying its financial power. Patents are the cornerstone of the pharmaceutical business model. A patent grants a company the exclusive right to make and sell a new drug for 20 years. This period of monopoly lets companies recoup R&D costs and earn profit without competition. Eli Lilly, like all major drug makers, is an expert at using the patent system. It files numerous patents on each new drug it develops. These patents cover the active molecule. They cover the manufacturing process. They cover the specific formulation. They cover the method of use for treating a disease. But the company's strategy often goes beyond the initial patent. Lilly has been accused of using techniques to extend its monopoly long after the primary patent should have expired. One such strategy is called evergreening. It involves filing for new patents on minor modifications to an existing drug. For example, patenting a new delivery device, like an injector pen, or patenting a slightly different formulation of the medicine. Each new patent can create fresh legal hurdles for generic competitors, delaying the entry of cheaper alternatives for years. This keeps prices high for patients and healthcare systems. Lilly also vigorously defends its patents in court. When a generic company files to produce a cheaper version, the brand name manufacturer often sues for patent infringement. These legal battles can be long and expensive. They can deter or delay generic competition even if the patents are weak. For years, Lilly has litigated to protect its top-selling products from generic entry. This legal strategy is central to maintaining high revenue streams from blockbuster drugs. Together, these tactics create a patent thicket. A single drug can be protected by dozens or even hundreds of overlapping patents. That dense web of IP makes it extremely difficult for a generic manufacturer to enter the market without facing a lawsuit. Critics say these practices violate the spirit of the patent system. They argue the system should reward genuine innovation, not extend monopolies through minor tweaks and aggressive litigation. The result? Prolonged high prices for medicines that could otherwise be far cheaper. The halls of power, lobbying, and regulatory engagement. Eli Lilly's influence extends far beyond the laboratory and the marketplace. The company is a major political force in Washington, D.C. and in state capitals across the country. It spends tens of millions of dollars each year on lobbying federal and state governments. It employs a large team of in-house lobbyists and retains powerful lobbying firms. Their job is to represent the company's interests to lawmakers, congressional staff officials, and regulatory agencies. They advocate for policies that are favorable to the pharmaceutical industry and oppose those that are not. The company's lobbying efforts cover a wide range of issues. A primary focus is preventing government controls on drug prices. Lilly and its industry trade group, PBM, have consistently fought proposals to allow Medicare to negotiate drug prices directly. They argue that price controls would stifle innovation and lead to fewer new cures. Another key area is patent law. The company lobbies to maintain a strong patent system that protects its products from competition for as long as possible. It also engages on issues related to FDA regulation, corporate taxes, and international trade agreements that affect intellectual property rights. Beyond direct lobbying, Eli Lilly cultivates influence through campaign contributions. The company's Political Action Committee, PS, and its employees donate millions of dollars to the campaigns of federal and state political candidates. These contributions go to Democrats and Republicans. The goal is not necessarily to support a specific ideology, but to ensure access to key policymakers. When a company has made significant political donations, its executives and lobbyists are more likely to have their calls returned and their meetings granted. This access is crucial for shaping legislation. Regulatory agencies, particularly the Food and Drug Administration (FDA), are another important focus. The FDA is responsible for approving new drugs and overseeing their safety. Lilly interacts with the FDA constantly throughout the drug development and approval process. The relationship is complex. While the FDA acts as a public watchdog, it also relies on funding from user fees paid by the pharmaceutical industry. Critics express concern that this financial relationship could create a conflict of interest. They worry that the agency may face pressure to approve drugs quickly to maintain its funding and a cooperative relationship with the industry it regulates. Eli Lilly has a long history of growing through acquisitions. Buying other companies is a common strategy for large pharmaceutical firms to expand their product pipelines and enter new markets. Instead of relying solely on its own internal research, Lilly can purchase a smaller biotech company that has a promising drug in development. This allows Lilly to acquire innovation. Over the years, the company has completed dozens of acquisitions, ranging from small, targeted purchases to major multi-billion-dollar mergers. A prominent example is Lilly's 2019 acquisition of Loxo Oncology for approximately $8 billion. Loxo specialized in developing highly targeted cancer therapies. By purchasing Loxo, Lilly instantly gained a portfolio of innovative oncology drugs and a team of expert cancer researchers. This move significantly strengthened Lilly's position in the lucrative cancer drug market. In 2023, Lilly acquired Dice Therapeutics for $2.4 billion to gain access to its oral drug candidates for treating autoimmune diseases. These acquisitions are strategic moves to fill gaps in Lilly's pipeline and secure future revenue streams. This trend of consolidation is not unique to Lilly. It is widespread across the pharmaceutical industry. Large companies are constantly acquiring smaller ones, leading to a market dominated by a shrinking number of giant corporations. While this can lead to efficiencies of scale, it also has potential downsides. Consolidation reduces competition. When a large company buys a potential competitor, it eliminates a rival from the marketplace. Over time, this can lead to fewer choices for payers and patients, and may contribute to higher prices, as dominant firms face less pressure to compete on cost. Major acquisitions can also shift research priorities. A small, innovative company may see its research agenda changed after acquisition. The larger company may prioritize projects with the biggest commercial returns, potentially abandoning research into less profitable but important areas, such as rare diseases and new antibiotics. The relentless drive for blockbuster drugs can sideline other valuable scientific pursuits. The consolidation of the industry concentrates power in the hands of a few major players, shaping the future of medicine in ways that prioritize shareholder value. The financial barriers to access have serious health consequences. When patients cannot afford their medication, they may not take it as prescribed. This non-adherence is a major problem in healthcare. For someone with diabetes, rationing insulin can lead to dangerously high blood sugar, which could cause hospitalization and cause long-term complications such as kidney failure, blindness, amputations. For a cancer patient, delaying or skipping treatment can mean the difference between remission and disease progression. The high cost of drugs ultimately undermines their effectiveness, as a medicine cannot work if a patient cannot take it. These systemic costs are borne by individual patients and the entire healthcare system. High drug spending strains, budgets for Medicare and Medicaid. Hospitals face higher costs for the medicines they administer. Money spent on expensive pharmaceuticals is money not spent on other healthcare services. Patient advocacy groups have become increasingly vocal in protesting high drug prices. They organize rallies, testify before Congress, and share personal stories to highlight the human cost of a system that often prioritizes profits over people's health and well-being. Eli Lilly's power is not limited to its economic and political activities. The company also wields significant soft power by shaping the environments of science, medicine, and public opinion. It accomplishes this through a sophisticated and far-reaching network of funding and relationships. For example, Lilly provides substantial funding for academic research at universities and medical centers around the world. While this support can accelerate scientific discovery, it can also create dependencies and potential conflicts of interest. Researchers may feel subtle pressure to produce findings that are favorable to their corporate sponsor. The company is also a major funder of patient advocacy groups. These organizations provide crucial support and resources for people living with diseases like diabetes, cancer, and Alzheimer's. However, when a substantial portion of their budget comes from a single pharmaceutical company, their independence can be questioned. These groups may be less likely to criticize their benefactors' high drug prices or to advocate for policies that the company opposes. This creates a public echo chamber where industry-friendly messages are amplified by trusted patient voices, influencing both public perception and policy debates. Medical education is another area of influence. Lilly sponsors continuing medical education programs for physicians, medical conferences, and symposia. These events are a key way for doctors to learn about the latest treatments. When sponsored by a drug company, the content may subtly favor the sponsor's products. The selection of speakers and the topics discussed can frame a medical problem in a way that makes the company's drug appear to be the best solution. This shapes the prescribing habits of physicians, who rely on this education to stay current in their practice. Finally, the company invests heavily in public relations and corporate image-making. Through advertising and sponsored content, Lilly presents itself as a compassionate, innovative company dedicated to finding cures. Its messaging emphasizes the value of its medicines and the challenges of drug discovery, often featuring heartwarming stories of patients whose lives have been saved. This carefully crafted public image helps to build a reservoir of goodwill. It serves as a powerful counterbalance to negative press about high prices. Eli Lilly and Company exemplifies the modern pharmaceutical giant. Its story is one of genuine scientific innovation intertwined with formidable business and political power. From its historic role in commercializing insulin to its current dominance in diabetes and other disease markets, Lilly has been a central player in shaping American and global medicine. The company's ability to develop life-saving drugs is undeniable. However, an examination of its business practices reveals a system that prioritizes shareholder returns, often at a significant cost to patients and health systems. The core issue is one of balance. The company's power is systemic and multifaceted. It is built upon a foundation of patent monopolies, aggressive legal tactics, incremental evergreening strategies. It is amplified through tens of millions of dollars in lobbying, campaign contributions that shape legislation to protect its interests. It is reinforced through strategic acquisitions that reduce competition, a vast network of funding that influences academic research, medical education, and patient advocacy. This concentration of power allows a few large firms to exert tremendous control over the price, availability of essential medicines. For patients, the implications are clear and often severe. The high prices set by Lilly and its peers create barriers to access, leading to financial hardship, poor health outcomes. For healthcare systems, the relentless rise in drug spending strains, budgets, and forces difficult trade-offs. The current model, which grants companies near total freedom to set prices in the U.S. market, has led to a crisis of affordability. It raises fundamental questions about whether medicines, particularly those developed with public support, should be treated purely as market commodities. Addressing this imbalance requires careful and deliberate policy action. It is not a matter of ending innovation, but of ensuring that the rewards for innovation are not limitless and do not come at the expense of public health. Potential reforms could include strengthening patent standards to reward only genuine novelty, allowing government negotiation of drug prices to leverage purchasing power, increasing transparency in the pricing and rebate system. For patients, policymakers, and the public, understanding the mechanisms of power used by companies like Eli Lilly is the first and most critical step toward creating a healthcare system that is both innovative and equitable.